Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Calling the meeting to order. Mauricio?
Commissioner Joseph,
Present.
Commissioner Stuyvesant, Commissioner Vizcarra,
Here.
excuse me, Vice Mayor Vizcarra.
Also here.
apologies. Commissioner Lama,
Here.
Mayor Svechin,
Here.
all members present. ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. So for those that are watching, since there's not really anyone in the audience, you may have noticed that we're doing this a little bit earlier. This was a decision by the commission in order to be more inclusive and allow for more time for the public to engage and to have time for public comment. So the meeting is going to go a little bit different than you're all used to. We're going to start with public comment first. So Mauricio, if you can just explain the process that it would normally take.
Yeah, so normally public comments are reserved for the 6:30 meeting where we allow the public to speak on any item that's listed on the agenda, and we go a per item basis with a traditional citizens forum at the end of that meeting. However, for the workshops, we're adding this new section for public comments where the public can come and speak on any item that's listed on that agenda. However, whatever comments are made are limited strictly to what's listed on this agenda and not, like I said, the traditional citizens forums that we have at 6:30.
Okay, thank you. So again, for clarification, if people want to participate and bring up whatever it is they want connected to the city, they should come at 6:30 and wait for the citizen
Correct,
forum.
yes.
Okay, wonderful. So with that, do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. So let's start with the special presentations.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is 3A, proclamation for Autism Soccer Day. Commissioner Stuyvesant, you want me to read the proclamation? Okay, the proclamation reads, whereas Autism Soccer is an organization founded in 2012 to create inclusive opportunities for individuals with autism through soccer, sports-based activities, and community support. And whereas Autism Soccer promotes social inclusion, skill development, confidence, and meaningful participation for children, youth, and adults with autism spectrum disorder in an environment of support, understanding, and encouragement. Whereas through adapted soccer training, Autism Soccer helps participants develop physical, social, emotional, and cognitive skills while promoting teamwork, discipline, friendship, and a sense of belonging. Whereas Autism Soccer has impacted thousands of children and families and continues to expand its mission of inclusion and opportunity through programs, events, education, and advocacy. And whereas Autism Soccer Day provides an opportunity to recognize the importance of inclusive recreational programming and to celebrate the abilities, talents, and contributions of individuals with autism. Whereas the City of Sunny Isles Beach supports efforts that promote acceptance, inclusion, accessibility, and community engagement for individuals of all abilities. Now therefore do I, Larissa Svechin, and on behalf of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, hereby proclaim April 18th, 2026 as Autism Soccer Day in the City of Sunny Isles Beach.
Wonderful. Did you want to say a few words?
Yes, I'm going to read something. So, in honor of April as Autism Month, I kindly request a proclamation recognizing Autism Soccer and its founder, Oscar Amus. More than a decade ago, Oscar Amus, CEO and founder of Autism Soccer, realized that sport required a new architecture to accommodate neurodiversity. After founding the Hope for Autism United for Soccer Foundation in 2013, his work has evolved to create a robust business and educational ecosystem, documented in his literary publications that today serve as a global guide. Today, Autism Soccer is active in 28 countries and has impacted the life of over 25,000 children and adults with autism. So we have here Oscar Amus from Autism Soccer to receive the proclamation. So if I may, I would like to invite him to say a few words.
Sure, please come up.
Honorable Mayor, Councilwoman, Councilmen, members of this beautiful city. I'm your neighbor. I'm from North Miami. I want to appreciate for this recognition. For me, this is more than a recognition because it's a significant put our name in the company for many years working, and for us, it's a really honor to receive this proclamation. Today, we serve at least 9 kids for your community. They're going to play with us in Opaloca. Our organization is in 17 countries. We're going to be close to 20. this year. With the World Cup, everything's going to be better. And we serve a lot of kids around the world, and we develop our own methodology and our franchise, and we're looking forward in the future try to fit our program in this city. But I think it's too small. It's like, too many people here. But we have the neighbors who help us to receive the kids. So for that, Commissioner Fabiola, thank you so much for the proclamation. Honorable Mayor Larissa, thank you so much for the support in all of you and the community. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll come down and take a picture.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. No, okay. Yes.
Okay, Mauricio?
The next item on the agenda, well, we're now into discussion items. 4A is a discussion regarding e-bikes ordinance.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
So this is, as the memo states, like this is basically a follow-up / piggyback on the scooter ordinance. The idea is to, obviously, to close the loophole. Well, if we're not going to be on a scooter, then we're going to get an e-bike, and then we just have a different kind of problem. And I would like to be able to take action, if possible, in this sort of in the same timeline as the scooter, so that there's the summer to adjust and make plans. And that's so that's basically, I'm just bringing it up. I know that we couldn't do them together because the laws are a little different, so maybe Alan can explain a little bit about that. But I just need to know, we need to know if everybody's on board with adding the e-bikes to as a new ordinance to address the same problem.
So for clarification, I think it would be very helpful if the city attorney could give us some guidance as to what we can and cannot do. Please.
Excuse me. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. So e-bikes in the second to last legislative session, if you recall, with the scooters, they passed some additional legislation with regards to two components. One, adding the age restriction capability of cities to regulate, as well as requiring identification. At the same time, they did the same for e-bikes, which are defined separately, and they're actually regulated separately in a different statute.
If I just want to interrupt you for a moment. So if I can get clarification, because I know there's a difference between e-bikes and then electrical bikes that have pedals, right?
So actually, e-bikes are the ones that have pedals and have a seat.
Okay, the ones that don't have
ones that
pedals.
don't have those, that are just basically dirt bikes but electric motors.
We can't regulate.
Those are regulated by the state.
Okay.
Those you have to have a registration like a vehicle.
So if you can
have
speak
have a
to
driver's-
those, both
Okay,
of those, please.
So
Okay.
what we're speaking of here are electric bicycles, which I won't read the definition, but essentially it's a bicycle that's power assisted. It has pedals, it has a seat. It pretty much looks like a bicycle, it's just a power assistance. And there's 3 classifications of them under the statute. Again, I won't go through each one. But the other that you referenced is basically these dirt bikes, so-called dirt bikes, that have electric motors instead of gasoline motors, which those are actually have to be registered like you would a motorcycle, and you have to have a driver's license in order to operate those. You have some, I understand from PD, having dealt with a few of them here, but generally what we're talking about here regulating would be the electric bicycles, which are conventional bicycles, power assisted.
Just, may I ask a question?
Sure.
The dirt bikes, they are considered vehicles, right? So they do not go on the sidewalks.
Right.
Okay.
So with the e-bicycles, again, there's a separate statutory section dealing with that, but generally they're treated like regular bicycles with some exceptions. But where bicycles can go, generally e-bikes can go as well. I won't go through the whole statute, but I can provide that to you separately, by email, because it's relatively short with regards to electric bicycles, but they have some additional components that are attributable just to them that wouldn't be attributable to a regular bicycle. So for the most part, wherever a bicycle can go, an e-bike can go, including sidewalks. So you are allowed to, under statute, to regulate them. If you want them off the sidewalk, you can have them off the sidewalks. Generally, they're allowed, certainly, in the bike lanes, and as with regular bicycles, on your lanes of travel in roadways and streets, but they have to be to the far right of that lane, the same regulations that take place. So to the extent you regulate them, similar to Vice Mayor, what you said, if you want to be consistent with the scooters, you could, from a messaging standpoint as well as a regulatory standpoint, have the age restriction on there as well, have the identification requirement on there as well, and again, that's up to you whether you want to ban them on sidewalks or not. We could add that component. So you do have some leverage there in being able to regulate them. You do have an existing bicycle ordinance, so we would just need to, I couldn't tell you right now exactly where we would put this regulation, whether it would be under the more sort of broad electric vehicle section of your code, or whether we combine it with the regular bicycle one, and we'll see where it fits best. We certainly want them to be complementary, but that's just a logistical standpoint. I mean, if you give us direction to enact something, then we'll just make it fit.
So before we get into discussion, just for more clarification, do we currently use any e-bikes with the PD? I know we did in the past.
I don't know.
One. So if we had now an ordinance that would not allow e-bikes on sidewalks, that would include the PD, correct?
It would, but there's certainly some exceptions. If you're in hot pursuit, for the lack of a better term, there's certain different rules that apply.
Okay.
Just as you're supposed to obey the speed limit, as the chief knows, but
Right,
if
of
you're
course.
pursuing someone, you may exceed the speed limit. So
I'm
there are
talking about
exceptions to
aside
that.
from the exceptions, though.
I mean,
But
generally,
we could
yeah.
carve that out,
We could carve that out.
right? I mean, we
Could
could.
we?
Well, I'm not too concerned about the one bicycle. the
Okay,
police
all
have.
right,
They
yeah,
have-
I just want to
yeah.
be consistent. All right, so let's, who would like to go first?
Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner
like to
Joseph.
I'd
Just
like
talk
to say
closer
that-
to your microphone.
Yes. So originally, when we did the city survey, residents had requested, and by unanimous decision, to have scooters as well as e-bikes off the sidewalks. I believe it was 70% that asked that happen. It was my intent when I originally asked for a full ban on e-bikes and scooters, which then was modified. It was my intent, though, to include e-bikes at that time, so which I'm 100% for including them now, and banning the e-bikes from the sidewalks. Actually, the e-bikes have had more occurrences with pedestrians than scooters on the sidewalks. So residents would be so overwhelmingly happy to have those off the sidewalks.
Okay. Anyone else?
The scooters cannot be banned from the sidewalks, right? But they can, but okay. Okay. It gets I don't want to put kids on the street.
Right.
But I feel like we have less e-bikes than scooters. So maybe banning the e-bikes from the sidewalks would be less of a problem because they have scooters as an alternative if they really want to be on the sidewalk.
Does it make it confusing for people to figure out?
That's the thing. I like to be consistent, but I can see how e-bikes would create, they're just clunkier, right? And you're more likely to hit a pedestrian.
And they go faster.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm inclined to say no e-bikes on the sidewalks. But it may create confusion. And I mean, I don't know if maybe if PD wants to weigh in on that later, what they think would be better for them enforcement-wise.
Well,
But
later.
I think for me, the obviously, I mean, I think you guys heard from kids as well. Like they're like, oh, no scooters, great, I'll get an e-bike, and that's been the loophole, and so we want to make sure we address that. And for me, I think the victory would be if we can see a significant reduction or complete elimination of all of this going to and from school in the mornings and in the afternoons. That's why I thought the age was important, because if you're 16, you're in high school. So we shouldn't be seeing you going to and from SIBK. So for me, as long as we're accomplishing that, I'm open to suggestions.
Commissioner Lamba, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, so I'd like to hear from our police department, and then from ordinance perspective, I'd like to understand if, so you had mentioned we'll need well, we already have an ordinance, right? Regarding e-bikes, or the state does?
No. So you already have your ordinances, forgetting state law right now. Your ordinance says you have an ordinance on regular bicycles.
On bicycles,
Right.
okay.
And then we have obviously the motor scooter ordinance, which also includes some other, like segways. Not that anybody uses those anymore, but things like that. It's a little bit more encompassing. And the e-bikes, we just have to really look for placement where it would fit best. But again, it could be in conjunction with the bicycles, or it could be in conjunction with the scooters. It's just a matter of placement.
Okay.
From state statute standpoint, obviously they're regulated by state statute as well. There's minimum requirements for e-bikes, as there are for bicycles and scooters and so on and so forth. So those are complementary, of course. And again, I'm not talking about the dirt bikes, right? The electric dirt bikes.
Yeah.
That's state law that's well regulated, and PD has a good handle on those. So there's both state regulation, and then of course the important localization of it is from the legislature last year, which gives you that ability to do the age restriction and the identification requirement, because that's not required under state statute.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you a little bit more oomph on the local
Yeah.
level than
Okay.
you do at the state level.
All right. So it will be basically the same as the current motorized scooter ordinance we have.
If that's what you all decide, that you want to keep it
Word for word,
consistent.
we could keep it consistent?
Right, so from a messaging standpoint, it may be better, because you can say it's scooters and e-bikes, and they're the same. If you do some disparity, I mean, you could still, I think, to the commissioner's point, you could still ban them on sidewalks, I think, without confusion, because an e-bike's an e-bike and a scooter's a scooter. But from that standpoint, I mean, if you stay with the same age and the same requirement for identification, again, from a management standpoint and enforcement standpoint, it's a little easier.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Stewardson? Nothing? Go ahead, Commissioner Joseph.
I would just like to say,
Your microphone's not on.
sorry. I would like to say that having the 16-year age requirement now would, and then including the e-bikes, it would give us a further leverage and also idea going forward as to what incidents we have. I know the PD currently doesn't take accident reports, they only take event reports. and I don't know if actually they keep them recorded or not. But I'd like to be able to somehow gauge in the future, once the new school year comes around, to see whether we would, and according to how many incidents we actually have on the sidewalks with pedestrians, to see what the commission might need to do to further ban these motorized vehicles.
Okay, so do we have then consensus that we would make it consistent with the scooters? Or do
I'd
we-
like to make it consistent, yes.
Okay.
But I mean, I would like some feedback from the police department, though. We'll need to.
Well, Vice Mayor, were you hoping to get this on the agenda tonight?
No, well.
No, we can't.
We can't?
We can't
yeah,
do an
it's
ordinance.
It would be an ordinance, and you're adding laws to your books. So
Okay.
I would
Wait till next.
preferably it should be on the agenda
Okay.
for
So
proper notice.
But we can start the messaging.
If we have consensus on what the parameters are going to be, so for example, age and ID, the same as scooters, if you want us to throw in there, as we're drafting this proposed ordinance for you to consider on first reading, we can throw in there the ban on the sidewalk and see how that
I
reads.
would like to see that.
And then from that point forward, then, between, at first reading and second reading, we can have input from everyone and see if there's anything you want to tweak, but at least if we have direction to bring to you those major components. The only thing that from a messaging standpoint, I think you can start if you want, if that's your decision, but we'd have to have clarity on definitely age, identification requirement, and then if you do want to ban them on sidewalk.
Yes.
So the age and the identification, I think we have clarity. As far as the sidewalk? No
No
sidewalk?
sidewalks. And also, the e-bikes go at a speed that allows them to be in the roadway.
Commissioner Lombardo?
That's correct, that's correct, and that's generally, if you read the statute, it's really, the crux of the statute really directs even bicycles, human-powered bicycles.
Right, that I
e-bikes,
know.
And it really belongs in the street. They do allow the use on the sidewalk, but again, they make it very clear that cities can regulate them off the sidewalk, and they are, e-bikes are, it's personal opinion, but they are overpowered, and it may be difficult on the sidewalk, especially the narrower sidewalks. So if you want us to throw that in there, we can do that.
Yes,
All right, but
let's-
I know as far as regular bicycles, we could regulate them, but historically, we've left them on the sidewalk to avoid pushing kids out onto the street.
Right.
But with e-bikes, it's a different story. Commissioner Lama, are you in support or against banning?
No sidewalks, yeah.
No sidewalks, Vice Mayor? This is
I'm
your item.
meaning no sidewalks, and so it sounds like we
Okay,
have
so,
consensus.
look, we have consensus, and if there is the public wants to come out, we'll give them plenty of time to come out and speak
Okay, so
for or against.
we'll draft the ordinance and have it for you.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor.
So it's, hold on, so we'll have first reading June, second reading July, and it'll be in place.
In time.
Immediately.
Perfect.
Yeah, in time for school year. All right, next item.
4B is a discussion regarding health benefits for elected officials.
Okay, Mr. City Manager?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the commission, as we consistently kind of audit our procedures and processes, it was discovered that health insurance benefits to the elected officials were provided via a memorandum back in 2009. So as part of that memo, it states that there was supposed to be a follow-up resolution, something formalizing the benefits that you all receive that are separate from your compensation in the charter. We cannot locate anywhere where there was some sort of formal resolution or anything that established what those benefits should be. So what we need to do now is we need to hear from you what you believe those benefits should be, and then bring that back to you in a formal resolution so that you can vote on it and the process will be in place going forward. So
Okay.
this does not have anything to do with your compensation, which is set by the charter. This is related strictly to your health insurance and benefits that you get from the city.
Okay, so just for clarification, despite the fact that we have no one in the room, imagining people are watching, right now the city commission can opt in, doesn't automatically receive, but can opt in for health benefits, same as city employees, correct? It's the same exact benefits that they can opt into.
Yes.
All right, and since 2012?
There was a memo in 2009 that made it
So
effective in 2010.
So-
This process has been in place since 2010.
Okay, since 2010, all commissioners that wanted to, including the mayor, opt in, were eligible to receive the health benefits. And now we just need to codify it.
Correct.
Okay, so who would like to give their input? Commissioner Joseph, you like going
Yes.
first?
So for the commission and the mayor, considering that we're opted in, the city pays the entire cost of our health insurance?
It depends upon your benefit selection, but essentially, yes.
Okay, because I know I have the family plan, so I'm paying additional for my wife and daughter. I pay that out of my own pocket. I wasn't actually aware how much the city pays towards my health insurance.
Yes, we pay for your single cost, and then you can add on family coverage.
Right. So I pay the family coverage. I
Yes.
wasn't aware how much the city was contributing towards mine. I just knew that there was an amount that I paid each month.
So, Mayor, in
Yes.
furtherance of the discussion, some other cities provide these health benefits insurance beyond the term of the elected officials. So if that's something you would like to discuss, we're trying to formalize all of this and put it into a resolution to bring back to you next month.
Okay,
So if I can add more
Sure.
specifically, so some jurisdictions, so under Chapter 112, you are required for your retiring employees, and retiring is defined by state statute, to keep them or give them the option to stay on your health insurance plan commingled with your regular employees. That's required. Under your home rule powers, though, under Chapter 162, you are allowed to extend that to others. So if you wanted to, let's say, do it for all your employees, you could, right? And if you want to do it and confer that upon yourselves, you can do that as well. So that's why some cities have opted to do that, where once an official leaves their term, that there's a continuation of benefits for a finite amount of time, depending on what you all want, but certain cities do that. So as we were looking at, because we were, candidly, it took a while for us to figure out when these were conferred on you and exactly what was conferred on you. So we started looking at everything and what other cities do as well. And that was just one of the things that some cities do. So since we're memorializing it officially now, as it should be, because it should be by resolution, since it is conferred as a governing body to yourselves, that there's only two ways you can really speak, and that's through resolution or ordinance. So it needs to be memorialized someplace, because frankly, like I said, it was hard for us to find, who do you ask, what are you entitled to, what do you get? It just wasn't anywhere. So we need to have that certainly memorialized, but as we're doing that, we're revisiting exactly what it is you all want, and then we'll be able to put that together and make it official.
and I had asked, and again for clarification, the body is treated equally, so the mayor cannot opt out, meaning we can't opt out of it in the ordinance. You
Well, it
could
depends.
individually opt out, I mean, in the ordinance you can't carve it out, that's what I meant.
How do you mean?
So that if you
Oh,
were to do
right.
benefits but would not include the mayor.
You could do that if you wanted to.
Oh, we
because
could.
again, you're not, state statute does not require you to, it only requires you to do it for your retirees, again, as defined by
I see.
Florida law.
Okay,
What you confer upon yourselves or upon other employees and extend to them, that's under your home rule powers under 162, so you could do what you want in that regard.
Okay.
So if you want to opt someone out, you can. Because
Okay.
currently, for example, you all get a stipend if you opt out. So under Chapter 112, currently, if you're still employed with the city, and by employee, you're not really employed, but if you're being paid by the city and you are on the health plan, the stipend is okay, according to the Attorney General. The continuation of a stipend post-employment or post-term may be an issue under the extra compensation statute, so we have to look at that a little bit. But I think if you, at the minimum, if you were at least staying on the plan, but then there would be no need for a stipend thereafter. So that we'd have to massage and look at a little bit. But currently, the practice of the stipend in lieu of the actual coverage is permissible in the Florida law, because I believe you do have that option. So that's still fine.
Okay, and what if, I wanted to just hear from the city manager, is there any sort of recommendation as to how long after leaving office and what that would look like?
I think for us, and having dealt with this over the past many years, there needs to be a definitive time period.
Okay,
So the discussion has been a transitionary time in that when your term is up, you then go out and seek your own insurance.
right.
So perhaps a year, perhaps 2 years. And then I think my recommendation would be, if this is something you're considering, I would include all of the commission, the mayor and the commissioners, so that we don't have to then go back and change it if there's a new electorate in upcoming years. So in other words, if you're going to establish this benefit, well, first we need to define what the benefit is. We know right now it's health insurance for all of you. Then second, if it's going to be applicable, it should be applicable to all of you. And then third, there should be some sort of definitive time period.
Okay,
And there's two little caveats. One, of course, in determining these benefits, you ultimately have to determine that there's a municipal purpose to it, right? Because you're expending funds as with anything else. So inherent in whatever decisions you make in the background there, you have to be able to justify that there's a municipal purpose. Generally, providing benefits to elected officials is deemed to be a public purpose. So that's not so much an issue. The only other thing I would recommend, because your charter is a little vague on this issue, so depending who you ask, so there's, if you look at Attorney General opinions, they treat benefits for the most part as compensation. Your charter under C2.6 talks about compensation, and what you're entitled to is compensation. So one could argue that that's it, that's your only compensation, you don't get anything else. I'm not going into that interpretation, because you, as a governing body, are the arbiters and interpreters if there's any sort of vagueness to the language. So we could still do it by resolution, but just in the future, where if you get to a point where you're amending your charter again, I would recommend that you make it more specific in this section, that compensation either does include benefits or does not, and what those may be. So for example, that you're entitled to the same benefits that are conferred upon regular employees, something to that effect. So in the future, if there's a debate about this, it's clear. So
Okay.
you don't need to do it now. You could do it by resolution, but just as a belt and suspenders type of situation in the future, if you have an opportunity to amend your charter, I would clarify that language in there so there's no question in the future.
okay. Let someone else go first. Commissioner Stosen, did you want to?
But do we need this resolution? Is it mandatory to make it? So we have
Yes.
to.
If you're going to receive these benefits, it needs to be memorialized someplace, yes.
It has to, like,
Yes.
we cannot go around it.
Right, you need some sort of action from the commission, not just what occurred in 2009 or 2010, where somebody said, yeah, let's do this, and nothing else happened.
That's what
It needs to be memorialized,
That's
yes.
what I want to say. It has to.
Yes,
We don't have any other option.
correct.
So, okay. Another thing, because
And
according,
it's a resolution.
okay, according to the IRS, we are employees because we receive a W-2. So federally, in the eyes of the IRS, are we or we are not employees?
Well, I can't give you tax advice, but from a taxing standpoint, You are, because you do get W-2s. You are paid through a payroll system, right?
Correct.
But you are, from a traditional employment-employer relationship, you don't fit that because you work for the voters. You don't work for the city, okay? City manager can't fire you. The city commission can't fire you. So you're an employee from that standpoint for tax purposes because you are paid through payroll, but you do not, in a traditional employer-employee relationship.
Well, but that's an interpretation as well, because again, in the eyes of the IRS, we are employees.
But there's different things. If you get sued for under Title VII, you're not an employee.
Okay,
Okay, so there's different variations, but for purposes of you getting paid, the city can only pay you really as, because it is a salary, that's the only way that it can pay you. But again, the scope of an employer-employee relationship is far broader than just your method of payment, right? So nobody in the city except the voters can fire you, for example, right? Nobody else can tell you what to do except what you as a governing body have set forth in your code and your bylaws and so on and so forth. So you do not fit the traditional, and this is something that has been discussed in every local government in Florida that I know of, because these issues come up when, let's say, an elected official does something in violation of Title VII or does something in violation of any other federal law. The defenses afforded to employers gets convoluted because you're not an employee. So I don't have control. The city manager's defenses for his employees with regards to, let's say, again, Title VII, is what he does in response to that and what he has in place as policies, right? But
Alan, if you can, just so people understand when you're saying Title VII, if you can clarify what that means.
Title VII is a vehicle, it's a statutory vehicle where the Civil Rights Act applies to you as a governmental body and to employers as well. So if you get sexually harassed, if you are age discriminate, that's ADA, sexual harassment, a variety of the suspect classifications that you're protected under Title VII. Those defenses aren't always available because you are not employees. The city manager cannot tell you what to do, right? His policies don't apply to you. You're not his employees. So that creates so in that sense, you are not an employee. And for the most part, you are not employees. You're independent. You answer only to the voters. The mechanism by which you're paid is just that. It's a mechanism by which you're paid. And the IRS requires taxation in that circumstance.
Okay. Commissioner Stevenson, do you have more to add? Okay. We take turns. Commissioner Lama?
Yeah, I'm just taking it all in, but, so I guess we'll have to define, so now we know we have to do this. We'll just have to define what that benefit would be and, for how long, basically.
Well,
in summary.
it could be status quo, what you all have now. We don't have to change anything. It could be exactly what you're getting now. At the very minimum.
No, understood, yeah, but I mean.
At the very minimum, we just need to memorialize what you're getting now. If you want to
Correct,
add
yeah.
something else on top of that, then that's up to you all. But at the very least, we need to memorialize what you currently get.
And you mentioned that other cities do extend the benefit to other.
Some do.
Some do, okay. Could we perhaps look at some examples of other cities that do this, just to get a better understanding?
I think, I'm trying to remember if I think Doral does it, because we were there for a while. There's some that come to mind, but yeah, we could, we can.
Yeah, I'd like to understand what that benefit entails for elected officials that obviously are no longer there.
And the longer the period, so again, you always have to attach municipal purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as the city manager said, if you justify it as a transition type period where it's 2-3 years post-term to help you transition to private market or whatever else, or another employer, so on and so forth, that's fine. If you say into infinity until death, that's harder to justify as a municipal purpose, right?
Yeah.
If you're 89 years old and you served when you were 40, it's a little hard to justify the municipal purpose in continuing those benefits to that time period. So the longer you go, the harder it is to justify the municipal purpose.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
If I may answer one question, our HR department did reach out to some neighboring communities to see what they do offer, and only 3 so far have responded. NMB, they have, covers the employee benefits, and if you have any dependent coverage, as Commissioner Joseph mentioned, they're responsible for that, and their benefits are offered when they term out. They continue beyond their term. City of Aventura, same thing. They cover the employee dependents they have to pay for, and at the end of their term, they're eligible for COBRA. And then Town of Surfside basically offers nothing.
Well, COBRA actually,
They're not eligible.
okay.
COBRA runs only for a short period.
Hold on, Commissioner Joseph. Commissioner Lama, did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
Did you mention the time period there, or is?
For NMB, what's the time period?
NMB, it does not say when it ends, but they continue after they term out. So I
They
guess for as
continue
long
after
as they choose.
So they include the employee, but not the, and the.
Not the dependents.
The family, the dependents can, just like we have
Just
here.
like how we have, yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
but
be
they
interested
pay
to know
like
if there's a-
$80,000 per commissioner.
Yeah,
or
I'm
mayor,
asking, I wanted
something.
to see what,
Yeah.
yeah.
NMB, no.
Okay,
In North Miami does.
In North Miami Beach also has a higher, not as North Miami.
I think they're in their sixties,
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
something.
let's do one at a time. Commissioner Lama, you're done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Vice Mayor, what's your opinion?
I like the idea of extending it for 2 or 3 years. I think when you consider, first of all, you don't want to be, it's only a couple of people, so you don't want to be dragging a whole crowd of people into this, so
Right.
it has a finite thing. And people who are likely to be commissioners are often business owners. So when you sign on to the city health insurance, and then you're, let's say that you're running again and you don't get reelected, you get left hanging. So otherwise, you might be able to plan for it. But there's I think that transition period, and also not just in case you don't get reelected, but if while in your employment you develop a condition or something that maybe you need more time to be able to transition, to find the proper coverage or something like that. I think that's a good thing, but only for a little bit, like 2 or 3 years, or maybe you have a formula like half the number of years that you served, or the number of terms that you served, or something. You come up with some formula, but it's going to be a set number.
Right.
And I would welcome that.
Okay, now Commissioner Joseph.
Okay, so I would like to ask, how many people on this commission are currently using the city health insurance?
I think the manager can respond.
Well, I'm hesitant to, share that with you because it's personal information. But if you all would like to know, then I can answer if that's your consensus.
And my reason for asking is, if we have a quorum that is not using the health insurance, then I would like to recuse myself on the vote.
You can't recuse yourself on the vote. You can only recuse yourself if there's a legal
Well, I would
conflict.
be voting to my own benefit.
That wouldn't be a legal conflict. The only time you can abstain would be if you have a legal conflict. Because if that applied, if that was a legal conflict, none of you could vote for it, and then you couldn't do it.
Right. Mr. City Manager?
I think I can answer without sharing the personal information,
Sure.
where I can say that 3 of you are using our insurance and 2 of you are not.
Okay.
Okay, so if we don't do this resolution, we are breaking the law.
Essentially, yeah, you have not, you're conferring you're taking benefits that have never been conferred on you.
Because I want to be very clear with this. I did my research. I believe we don't need it. I'm okay with the status quo, to your question, I do not use the benefits of I'm not in the insurance of the city, so I have my own insurance. So, like I said, I don't think we should be continue codifying things unless they have to be codified. Because if that's the case, and we want to take other municipalities as an example, there are a lot of things when it comes to our benefits that they should change, you know? And one of them is like communications. We are not part of the all-staff communication, meaning that we don't know when they're having any kind of events unless we get specifically invited. Last Friday, there was a barbecue for the police department. Everybody got that email, we did not. So we cannot even come to say thank you for your service. So we are not we are not treated with, I'm gonna say, particularly I think it's a disrespect the way we are treated by not being part of the all-staff communication. Same thing with we approved the budget. However, when there is people that is being hired, fired, promoted, we don't even get informed about that as well. I usually meet people in the elevator and have to introduce myself to them. Again, that is not best practices. That's not what happened in other municipalities. And things have changed for the bad, because when I got elected, I remember getting many times invited to the police department when we had new hires. It was put in our agenda, into our calendar, etc. Suddenly, someone, for whatever reason, and I would want to know why, we are not anymore invited, not even one second. To our police department new hires. Again, we have to just meet the people in the elevator or somewhere else. So for certain things, we are considered, like I said, federally, according to the IRS, we are employees. I understand we are not, but again, I'm perfectly fine with the status quo. I do not like to codify things that they don't need to be codified, because usually it goes against ourselves and the residents. And if we are not breaking the law, I don't think we should be codifying this. And I would like to know why we are not getting invited to the police department's new hires anymore.
If I can answer the first part.
Please, go ahead.
It's not codification. You're not codifying anything. Codification is through ordinances. This is a resolution. You are right now receiving a benefit that has never been authorized.
So
Okay.
we're breaking the law.
Thank you.
Yeah, essentially, you're receiving a benefit that's never been authorized. So you need to authorize that benefit that you're receiving.
Right, thank you. I'll just, if the city manager would just answer that question, but I don't want to get off topic because we have a very set agenda. I want to continue this conversation so that we can, concentrate on what we're talking about. But please go ahead.
I will. So many years ago, when I first appointed the chief as the chief of police, we've had many discussions regarding the police department and how we wanted it to move forward. So one of the things that I stated was, over these past many years, there were new officers that started that I had not met individually. So I told the chief, when we hire somebody new, and as you know, we've hired 18 police officers in the past 2 to 3 years. So we've really worked steady to build the relationship between the police department, the elected officials, the fellow employees, to build it up to what it is now, which is great. So as part of that, I explained to the chief, instead of me just signing an offer letter when we're going to hire an officer, I want to meet with them. So now we have a process where there's a one-on-one meeting with me and the chief and the applicant. And as part of the meeting, and so far the feedback we've gotten has been incredible. I explained to them that, because in today's times there's a lot of questions about the police or defunding the police, I explained to them with pride, this commission has always voted 5-0 on anything that we do for the police department, and that they have the full support of not only the elected officials, but also the city manager's office. And we found that this has been an incredible tool, and sometimes we're told more often than not that this is the first time any of the officers have ever had a sit-down meeting with the manager. So after that, we were including you in our new officer swearing in. As you know, it's a significant event where we pin the badge on them, we invite their families, and we take photos. So for us, the chief, myself, we take it very seriously, and it's a very, I'd say, poignant moment for the police officers and their families. And then usually I explain to their families that the chief has built a family environment here, they have the support of the manager, and I want them to know that their loved ones are going to be taken care of going forward.
I always took it very seriously also to.
Right.
Can you let the
To
manager finish,
appear.
please?
The question hasn't been answered.
Okay,
It's going
so getting to that point, at one of these swearing-ins, we had one or two officers there with their families. The chief has a very formal process where they're sworn in. We video, everybody's taking pictures, we have media there. We were getting to the point where the elected officials were there, and we were asking them to come up to take pictures. So the family is there, I'm there, the chief, a lot of the command staff, the family's coming up to take pictures, and I'm asking you all to come up without being specific. And at that moment, one of you refused to come up to take pictures with the other. It was a moment of, well, I guess for lack of a better word, shock, disappointment, the family, we're all looking at each other wondering, what's happening. It was a beautiful moment that, for lack of a better word, was ruined by pettiness. So why am I going to subject something like that to that in the future? So now the swearing-ins are handled by myself and the chief, and we take media. So if you're there bickering about who's going to take a picture with who and you're not coming up, and I'm explaining that they have the support of the police department and the elected officials and the city manager's office, it makes for a very uncomfortable moment. And it's not only happened there, it's happened at some of our community events. So the employees don't want to be caught in the middle of this. They don't want to be talking to you, hearing about, well, we should do the event this way, or we should have this kind of event, or we should have done this for this event. They don't want to be part of that. And if they're seen with one of you having conversations, then the other one's like, well, what is this happening? Why are they talking to them, or they support them? So it's an effort to protect the integrity of the process and everything else that we do here. So you're all welcome to go, but you have to have some decorum and understand that in these kind of scenarios, it's not really about you. It's about their family. So if there's a pause when I ask you to come up to take a photo with the families of the police officers that are being sworn in, how does that play out to them? So it's embarrassing to the chief, me, and its poor representation of the city. So that's why it stopped.
Okay, so
Thank
if
you.
I-
Wait, well,
so-
let's,
okay.
Commissioner Stewart, I want to let you keep going, but I want to stay on topic, so please, you can go ahead.
Okay, so I wasn't present when that happened, so I'm sorry that the police department and their family had to go through that, and it's very sad. However, for the behavior of one person, everybody else got their rights taken away. I have 3 children, and we talk about here that we have to be consistent. You have to treat everybody, of course, equally. In that case, the behavior of one person took away the opportunity of everybody else to be there in that moment. That is not consistency, that is not fairness, and that is not a normal behavior. So whoever doesn't behave is part of being a leader to have that conversation with that person, And it's sad, and I agree with you, it's completely pettiness to be behaving like that. Me myself, I have refused pictures in the past because I don't agree with the setting, but I don't make it about me. I just remove myself, and that's about it. But what happened in the police department, I personally wanted to say to the chief and everybody, the whole department, I'm so sorry that happened. I would like to be informed whenever you have those swearing-ins, and if I'm available, I would like to be there just to congratulate the families, the new officer, and not for the picture, because I'm actually one of the persons here that is, the camera doesn't like me, so I don't like the pictures.
Okay.
And
Go ahead,
just,
Mr. City
just
Manager,
to
and then
reply,
let's get back
I
on
would
the item.
very much like to have all of you there. But when the family's there, you have to understand the family wants a picture with the chief, with me. They also want a picture of the elected officials. So I'm there explaining to them during the interview process how we're going to protect and take care of their loved one, and then some of you don't want to take pictures. So I understand. Should it apply to all of you? Maybe not, but it's also happened at other events. So the staff is scrambling, this person needs to get here. We should establish in the future, if we're going to do this, we're going to have a certain time. If you're there at this time, we're taking pictures. I think it's your responsibility to find us, not us to come find you. There's going to be a photo opportunity at this time. If you want to be part of it, I really think we would all appreciate it, but not at the expense of what's happened before. It can't happen going forward.
Okay.
And I include that for all of the events, not just the swearing in. I'm happy to share it with all of you. I would like for you all to be there.
Thank you. All right. If we can get back on the item, please. So right now there is, I think, consensus about keeping the status quo of the insurance, and this is more about getting clarification if we were to extend it past the term. So the manager made a recommendation of 2 years, 2 to 3 years. Okay. So I'd like to hear everyone's opinion on that.
What is your opinion?
I've never participated in the insurance, but that's just me. I don't want to set up anyone in the future, especially since it's compared to some other cities, the overall compensation is pretty low. So it's an important part of this, and especially for people like the Vice Mayor said that maybe own their own businesses, it's a big part of it. So I personally am in support of keeping the insurance and some sort of additional term, very limited, perhaps 1 year, but I'll go with whatever the consensus is. So, anyone else? Commissioner Joseph?
No, I pass. I will go with the consensus, since
Oh, I see. You don't
I'm
wanna
gaining a
vote.
benefit.
Okay.
So.
I agree. Obviously, we have to do the resolution. We can't keep conferring a benefit for 16 years without it, so we have to formalize that. And I definitely support an extension of a set period of time.
What period of time?
I like the idea of 2 years, like it's
2
like
years.
the number of terms for most, right? It's if you serve 2 terms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Lama?
Yeah, I would say the same.
Okay.
You formalize what we already have and then look into
2 years.
an extension period of 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years, you're
Well,
saying?
I think this should be in the decision should be for the voters, it's their money. So I think we should do a referendum for this and ask the voters what is their opinion. If we're going to be doing this, then why not, the 4 of us, we are term out. So the 4 commissioners. So maybe we should be looking forward to help the new commissioners that are coming, not only with all better benefits, 2, 3 years or so, but also maybe a better compensation. So we are very low compared to many municipalities. We higher compared to other ones. But if we want to also get more talent, maybe if we have a better benefits to whoever decide to run for office and eventually getting elected, we should go through the real path of asking the electorate to give a better compensation to their elected officials, including this package of benefits. So I do believe this should be in the the decision of the voters and not us, because I agree with Jerry. We are kind of compromised because we are getting the benefit. I'm not getting the insurance as well. So, but in general, we as a body, we are getting this benefit. So I do believe that we should not be making this decision right now. Just stop breaking the law and make whatever resolution for the status quo and make a referendum to ask the electorate about this.
Just for best practices, I'd like to get clarification from the city clerk, and maybe actually the city attorney as well. It is the norm for commissions and councils to vote on these sort of things and not necessarily go out to a referendum. And then if that was the case, what would that look like?
Well, it depends on what your governing documents is. So I have one jurisdiction that I know that there is a provision where they cannot confer the benefit upon themselves. They have to do it for the future commission.
Mm-hmm.
That's specifically within their charter, right? So you don't have that in your charter.
Okay.
So there's nothing prohibiting you from doing it. Best practices, again, it depends on the jurisdiction and what's in their code. Some of their charters actually provide for benefits, so that's already said and done, so there's no need to do a referendum because it's already in the code. In the charter. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of like apples and oranges. Here, your charter really only speaks of compensation, but has it been done? Certainly. I mean, it's not unusual for you all to vote on that. That's not unusual, but because it's done, I think, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, all these other jurisdictions, St. Augustine, all these other places have done it by resolution that confer it upon themselves. City Hollywood, I know that was controversial because they gave themselves a big raise, but Doral,
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood, so it's done. It's legal for you to vote on that.
So us voting on
Politically,
it is
that's up to you
consistent
all.
with what others do.
Politically, that's up to you all, but
Right,
from a
of
legal
course.
standpoint, you can, unless it's prohibited.
No, I meant that Doral has to do a referendum to raise the money for the compensations. Yes.
Right, yeah, it depends on the charter and everything
We
else.
addressed
Because
that
for
through the-
example, for example here, let's say you want to, because you get $1,000, right, a month. Let's say you want to make it $2,000, that you'd have to go to referendum because that's in your charter, right? And that's why from a standpoint of the next time you do that, for clarity, you should add and make some changes to your charter in that regard. But at least for now, the status quo, I would put in a resolution and get that squared away.
Okay.
And we addressed our compensation when we did the charter review a few years ago.
Right.
And that went to the voters, and that's when we discovered that we've been doing that wrong for however many
Right,
years.
right.
And we had the adjustment, so I feel the compensation has been addressed, and I'm comfortable with this, because it's not an exaggerated thing, it's not for life, and I think it's a fair adjustment.
Okay. Maurizio, if I can just get clarification, how would this even work if this is the direction we would take?
So in terms of a referendum, I'd have to speak with the supervisor of elections to see if there is enough time to be able to add this to the November 3rd ballot. This is a little bit different than having, let's say, a seat, for example, placed on that ballot because it's an actual question, which would take up more space on the page. But like the city attorney said, it's a matter of the direction that the commission takes and gives staff on how to proceed with this.
Okay.
And you can always, correct me if I'm wrong, you could always do a standalone referendum.
Yes, we
But
can.
that's at a higher cost.
No, no, I don't wanna
Ideally,
add
you
any-
want to do it in
No,
November.
But I do
Okay.
have a question because about the referendum, because for a discussion that we had a few months ago, when I brought about the Inspector General, I was told that we don't have no time for that to be in this ballot. So
Yeah, again, I
Same thing.
don't believe there is time, but I would have to get confirmation from,
because if that's the case, I
Yeah.
can bring both items back and
Mhm.
request a referendum with whatever language necessary, because I'm going to continue pursuing that. So we could do both, and the one for the Inspector General and also the one for the compensation and benefits of the future commission.
right,
Yeah.
because remember, keep in mind that whether it's the new office that you're speaking about, or whether it's a charter change, it requires an ordinance, which requires 2 readings. So that extends the time, which is why need to speak with the supervisor of elections to see what the exact timeline would be.
Okay. So I'm comfortable with having this body vote because it does give the opportunity for the voters to come and speak against if they would like to. I lean very much to the 2 years rather than 3 years, but I think it's important to actually also know what that means fiscally for the city. If, for instance, right now we have 3 people on and 2 people off, what does that look like if you had, cumulatively, what does that cost every year? If, for the next maybe 4 years or 5 years, depending on when people are terming out. Okay. All right, did anyone have anything else to add? No? All right, that's our last item, Mauricio?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just a reminder, we have the meeting at 6:30, but we're gonna have the
LPA at
at
6:20.
6:20.
6:20.
Okay. All right, this meeting is adjourned. See you all at 6:20. Thank you.
Know where the ball's gonna go, and then you don't want to be like this and trying to go. So you're gonna boom, get there, and then platform. Okay? Let's do it again. Low, ready? Boom, right. Boom. Okay? Setting. I'm gonna have a triangle over your forehead. You're gonna push that ball. Okay? And for setting, you wanna, when it comes to push, think of it as like a hot potato. The ball's here because you don't want to necessarily have the ball too much here, and then because it would be considered a carry or a double. So you want to make sure once that ball touches, you're pushing it, okay? And then hitting, bow and arrow. Always remember bow and arrow, okay? Don't worry necessarily about power, it's all about technique, okay? So bow and arrow, boom. Okay, and it's the same thing for serving, okay? Serving, same thing. So just to show you, so I'm hitting that ball, I have my bow and arrow, serving, same thing. So make sure your technique is always good, okay? 15-second break just to relax, breathe, quick sip, just in case you need one, and wipe down. Okay, and next will be our actual volleyball fun part. Okay, so, and bring it back. Okay, now, volleyball. So all the technique that we did, you try to wanna use it to pass this ball, okay? Later on, we'll get into more it's a fun challenge at the end where it's called Scooby-Doo. I'll go into more details when we get to that part. But passing, you're low and ready, have your ball. If you have somebody to toss the ball to, that'll be great. If you don't, it's okay. You have yourself, you can pass it up, self-pass. Okay, you can always do that. That's something necessarily you can do on your own. You don't have to necessarily require, so you can go out and just say, Mom, Dad, whoever you stay with, I'm just gonna pass to myself. Okay? And if you do not have a ball, don't worry about the passing, you work on technique, okay? So I'm here, I'm low, I have my ball, right? Make sure that right foot slightly in front and you're low. Boom, ball, okay? Just toss and catch. Toss and catch. So that toss was not actual good toss. You wanna try to keep the ball in front of you. So toss, catch, okay? So I'm tossed and I'm ready, okay? That passing should always be here, okay? So never here, should always be here. So we're just gonna do some self-passing for a minute or two. So you guys can start. I'm gonna keep talking about passing, so make sure that you're passing this ball here, okay? It shouldn't be here because this necessarily doesn't, it may make the ball go another angle or another way. So here is more predictable. So I'm here and I'm going. Okay? Okay? Look like that. Okay? So do that. Now we're gonna move on. You can keep doing that as I'm talking. The next one, same thing, just a little bit of a challenge. So you kind of have two types of passing. You can either pass slow or high. And what I mean by that, I mean like to yourself. Not, it's different when you play with 5 other people, but when you're to yourself, work on actually passing low and high. It's all about ball control. It's very important. So I'm here, and I'm low, I'm ready to go. Boom. Low, high. Low, high. Low, high. Okay? You see, it's not the same. If you can, try to always practice low and high. It's not necessarily it's just basic ball control. That's very important. So again, low, high. So I'm here, I'm low, I'm ready. Toss, low, high. Low, high. Low, high. Low, high. Okay? So that's one way. Boom, moving on. So next one. This is more setting and passing. So all I want to see is you passing and then setting the ball. But don't set it out, set it back to your, in your area. So let me demonstrate. I'm here, boom, 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 boom. So I don't know if you guys noticed, I double pass. I'm tall, so make sure you're passing the ball high enough for you to actually set. So none of what not to do when you're my height. Passing, not good. So I want to make sure I pass that ball high enough, including you. You guys pass high enough so you can get underneath that ball and set, okay? So I'm low, pass, set, pass, set, pass, set. Okay? So do 5 of those. Ball control, very important. You need it. If anything, always want to work on your ball control. That is very, very, very important. So now we're going to add a little bit challenge. So it's called Scooby-Doo. So this, for my kids who are watching, you're probably going to love this because we tell you guys not to go one hand. Now you can go one hand. So for this, it'll be you're keeping the ball alive. And what I mean by alive, I mean up in the air. So anything goes. And for my new people who've never done volleyball, you're allowed to touch this ball with any part of your body. So let's say the ball bounces off your head. It counts as a touch. Don't just think, oh, it touched my head. It doesn't count. No, it counts. Foot, knee, thigh, it counts. So in this case, when you're doing Scooby-Doo, even when you're playing that ball, so in volleyball, just quicker, you're allowed to touch the ball 3 times. So if that ball hits me on the head, my teammates, you cannot touch it till after somebody else touches it, but my teammates, that counts as the first touch. So they need to either use those other 2 touches to get the ball over. That includes the 3rd touch. 3rd touch has to go over. So Scooby-Doo. So I'm here, I'm low. Even tip it. Okay, one hand, boom. Pass. Okay. Low. Boom, one hand. I'm keeping that ball up. Control. With this, it's all about control. So for the one hand, you want to make sure it contacts here. Never here. Here. You have more control with this area. Okay? So you do some Scooby-Doo for a little bit, a minute, just to get the hang of it. You can add your knees to it. So pass, boom, boom, pass, one hand. Boom. Okay? Now, next thing. We're going to work on some setting if you can. It'll be easier. If you can have somebody try to catch the ball when you set, it'll be helpful. But if not, just have like a target that you can, or just practice setting up. So I'm here, toss my ball, set. Let it bounce. I go back, toss, triangle, set. Okay? So make sure that ball is high. You do not want to set that ball here. Okay? Make sure it actually gets out. Okay? So I'm here, pushing. Okay? So just practice of that. Or just like volleyball, we have the self pass. You also have your self set. So I'm here, triangle, pushing. You can add the pass, okay? And whenever you feel that, let's say like I'm doing this and like the ball's just going all over, you're allowed to stop, reset, and start again, okay? So let's say I'm gonna do pass, pass, set, pass, set, pass, set, set, pass. You add whatever combination you want to do, you can do. So now we have something that's called pepper. So just something you can pepper with yourself, just you can't hit to yourself. If you do, I would love to see that. But if you can, try to use either a wall, if somebody else in your family that knows how to play volleyball, that's good, or just have them catch the ball when you hit it to them. So for right now, we're gonna pass, set, tip, pass, set, tip, okay? And that tip, it's like a tap, okay, just so it comes back. Normally, you actually hit, but because in case some of you that aren't allowed to be like outside, you're in a confined space like myself, you just tip the ball back to you, okay? Or if you have a wall, actually swing, but a control swing, it's like almost like a roll. So it should look like that, okay? So always remember, it's all about control. For some of you that know, as like I hit hard, I did not start like that. You have to work on technique and control, okay? So again, pass, set, tip, pass, set, tip, pass, set, tip, pass, set, tip, okay? So it's something you can do, and if you have somebody else, they can toss you the ball first, and you guys actually pepper where it's you pass, they set, and then you hit to them, and that's what it's a regular pepper. But if not, pass, set to yourself, and you can tip to them, or you can hit to them and just tell them catch the ball and toss it back to you. So even with the hitting and pepper, control. So let's say, for example, this is my person. I'm not going to hit the ball hard. I want to make sure that it's controlled to them. Boom. Like so where it goes to them. Okay? So make sure it's like that. Don't actually try to kill them. So just make sure it's all about control. Ball control, even setting with control and hitting control, okay? So now, hitting. Just to get a basics of hitting. So bow and arrow, like this, okay? And you need to hear that, okay? Like, I mean, I'm actually making good contact with that ball, okay? So I'm here, okay? Making good contact, okay? So, okay? Like, because this determines a lot. This is good. This sound means that you contacted that ball good. Because this, you can't hit like this, little french fries. So this, no. This, yes. So I'm here, boom. Bow and arrow, toss, catch. Okay? So just pause like 5 seconds. Why do you think I caught that ball here? I know you guys, we can't hear each other, but just in case, say it out loud, you may like just have an idea. So this is my highest point of contact, okay? So let's say I'm hitting, I don't want to catch the ball way down here. That's too low. So high contact. Bow and arrow, I toss, catching high contact. You want to go for that ball, okay? And then this, you need to make good contact. So I'm here, boom, boom. Just working on contact, okay? And this right here, I'm actually following through. But this is just to get good contact with the ball and actually hear how it should sound, okay? So let's just, a couple more things. So pass, set, tip, pass. Bring it back, set, tip, okay? So now I'm gonna add a little trick to it. Now let's try a roll. So a roll shot is more like a toss and letting it go off like this, okay? Just to add something. Pass, set, roll. Pass, set, roll. Pass, set, roll. Okay? So now a little bit of footwork, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So footwork for hitting. It's the opposite if you are a lefty. So I'm a righty. This is how I look for a righty. I'll do it for my lefties after. So boom. Right, left, jump. Okay, walk it back. Right, left, jump. Okay? Lefties, it'll be the opposite. Left, right, jump. Okay? Left, right, jump. Okay? Back for my righties. Right, left, jump. Okay? Right, left, jump. Okay? And arms, they need to go back and then come forward. So your arms, so don't think just because your arms are here, you actually need to use them, because this brings the momentum for you to jump. Okay? So just to walk it slow, boom, boom, boom. You explode. Okay? A few more. Right, left, jump. So say it in your head. Right, left, jump. Right, left, jump. For my lefties, left, right, jump. Left, right, jump. Okay? So these are just some key things you can do at home. Everything that I went over is something that's it adds to volleyball. Don't just worry about, oh, no, I need to work on passing. I don't need to work on the working out part. You do. Because in order for you to keep movement, you got to work on your here. You hear your clock especially, and learning how to dive. So technique is very crucial. And so just to wrap it up, remember, passing, you're low. You're ready to go. Platform, this is my platform. Very important. Cannot pass the ball. So just to demonstrate. So after I pass, look. Hold. Okay? So make sure you're doing that and not, it's not good. So pass and hold. Okay? Setting. Triangle. Okay? Make sure you see that. And you're pushing. Okay? Hitting. Bow and arrow. Always remember that. Bow and arrow. Okay? And blocking, you're just jumping. Like make sure you're ready, you're locked and loaded, and you go up. Okay? And so just a quick little, cool down stretch. So shoulders, wrap them up. Okay. Boom. Okay, let's do this. Okay, switch. Okay. Again, right arm, try to touch that shoulder, your back, and then you're pulling. Okay, switch. Okay, shake it out. Right leg up. And then just a little if you can, try to add, just see where your balance is at. Just for, okay? Boom. Hold. Reach out if you can. Boom. Shake it. Okay, to the right. To the left. Middle. Okay, bring it up. Okay, shake it out. Touch your toes. Okay, shake it off. Okay, thank you again. This is just stuff you can do at home. Does not require much. Just a ball, water, a towel. This will also, if you had family members or friends that weren't able to tune in right now, this will be on the social media, including the YouTube channel. So you can always go back and look if you need ideas. And we hope to have more of these videos so you get another idea of other stuff to do in regards to volleyball. Thank you. Make sure you guys are staying safe and look forward to seeing you guys back. And we're here if you have any questions, concerns, or anything. Thank you.
Hello, Sunny Isles Beach. I'm here at the North Bay Road pedestrian bridge where you may notice some new improvements. The bridge has been repaired and enhanced with new ADA compliant surface and updated safety bollards. A new green stripe lane on the bridge ramps is reserved for scooter riders and bicyclists. When entering the bridge, please keep to the east side, remaining safely separated from pedestrians. This ensures a safer experience for everyone. As we enjoy these enhancements together, we kindly ask for your help in keeping the bridge clean and safe. Please dispose of gum and trash properly and be mindful when walking pets so we can continue to take pride in this beautiful public space. These upgrades are part of our ongoing commitment to keep pedestrians safe and make our city accessible to all.
The City of Sunny Isles Beach will observe the following park hours. Heritage Park, located at 19200 Collins Avenue, is open daily except for Fridays from 8 o'clock a.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Fridays hours are 12 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Golden Shores Park, located at 201 191st Terrace, is open daily except for Tuesdays from 8:30 a.m. to sunset. Tuesday hours are from 12 o'clock p.m. to sunset. Pelican Community Park, located at 18115 North Bay Road. Hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. and Sunday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. with front desk services offered in the gymnasium. Senator Gwen Margolis Park, located at 17815 North Bay Road. Our soccer field hours of operation are daily from 8 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m., except when in use for city programs. Our Senator Gwen Margolis Park playground is open daily except for Wednesdays from 8 o'clock a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Wednesday's playground hours are from 10 o'clock a.m. to 8:30 p.m. The Bone Zone Dog Park at Senator Gwen Margolis Park is open daily except for Wednesdays from 7:30 a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Wednesday's hours are from 10 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Sampson Oceanfront Park, located at 17425 Collins Avenue, is open daily from sunrise to sunset. The restrooms at Sampson Oceanfront Park are open from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Town Center Park, located at 17200 Collins Avenue, is open daily except for Wednesdays from 8 o'clock a.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Town Center Park hours on Wednesdays are from 12 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Gateway Park, located at 151 Sunny Isles Boulevard, is open daily except for Wednesdays and Thursdays from 8 o'clock a.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Gateway Park hours of operations on Wednesdays are from 8 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m., with gates reopening at 5:30 p.m. for Gateway Market. Gateway Park hours of operations on Thursdays will be from 12 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Gateway Center, located at 151 Sunny Isles Boulevard, is open Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Your Sunny Isles Beach resident ID card is your all-access pass to Gateway Center. Show your valid card at the reception desk for entry. Pier Park and the Newport Fishing Pier, located at 16501 Collins Avenue, is open daily except for Tuesdays and Fridays from 7 o'clock a.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. Pier Park and the Newport Fishing Pier hours on Tuesdays and Fridays is from 10:30 a.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. Intracoastal Parks, located at 16100 Collins Avenue, are open daily from sunrise to sunset. The Intracoastal Parks Playground is open daily except for Thursdays from 8 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. And the Intracoastal Parks Playground hours on Thursdays are from 10 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Visit sibfl.net/parks for all park rules, guidelines, amenities, and hours.
Sunny Isles Beach Ocean Rescue would like to remind you wheelchairs are available to our beach patrons. Wheelchairs for beach patrons are free, easy to push, even on the soft sand of our beaches, and available 7 days a week during the Sunny Isles Beach Ocean Rescue operating hours. Beach patrons can request a wheelchair from any lifeguard tower. Please have your driver's license or your Sunny Isles Beach resident ID card available.
Hi everyone, Sergeant Hernandez here with the Sunny Isles Beach Police Department. I want to share some important updates about motorized scooter regulations in our city. The City Commission recently approved a new ordinance to help keep our roads and sidewalks safer for everyone. Here's what's changing. First, riders must now be 16 years or older to use a motorized scooter in Sunny Isles Beach. Second, anyone riding a scooter will be required to carry a government-issued ID. And finally, violations come with fines, $250 for the first offense and $500 for any after that. We'll be focusing on education for the next couple of months, but starting June 1st, our officers, along with our code enforcement officers, will begin issuing citations. Let's work together to keep our roads and sidewalks safe for everyone.
Drone is the first responder program here in the city of Sunny Isles Beach. It is the first contracted non-beta autonomous drone dock setup in the state of Florida. This new Skydio X10 dock in conjunction with Axon Air has provided us an opportunity and the citizens of Sunny Isles Beach a tremendous benefit. This is a game-changing piece of technology and enters us into a new era of public safety and protecting our citizens. We are able to respond to calls for service, emergencies, traffic crashes, missing people, drowning victims much quicker than we ever could have. Being an extra set of eyes, they can be there in literally seconds. 20 seconds of launching the drone, it is up in the air and on its way, and will provide that extra layer of security and make our response time so much quicker. When the dispatcher receives a call, the drone pilot officer is already in the